Yeah, so tell me, if for instance I was a survivor and I'm here, so I'm brought in from the hospital, they've got my data, they bring my file to you, I come here, or I'm brought by a civil society organization. So when one gets here, what is the process or the procedure? How does it work till you now give them a place? I want you to just know how you take us through how you receive your survivor and until the exit of the survivor. Give us a story, a typical story.
Once we receive you here, we admit you. We take your particulars. If the file was in the main hospital, we transfer it here. If it's a new file we are creating for you because you did not need to go to the main hospital, you come in here. Once you come in here, we admit you. Once you are admitted, you get a bed. You are allocated a bed because there are several beds and there are several survivors inside there. Once we allocate you the bed, we assess. We do something we call an intake interview. The intake interview is where we look at your particular needs, your specific needs, because every survivor has a variety of needs which are not similar to the other. So once we get those ones, for instance, if we find you may need medical checkup, then the doctor is there. We assign you a doctor. If we find you need generally psychological follow-up, a prescription is made for how many psychotherapy sessions or counseling sessions you will need, and they are put in your file. So our work will be to check whether these prescriptions that have been done have been followed up, and we come and check, and we come and see the patients, and at least we limit access. We make sure not everyone comes in here, so that these people get now a time to tell their story, a time to even ventilate about what happened. After that, we keep on treating you, as we also, hand in hand, try to look at your exit. How will you live? How will you leave this home? Because this is not permanent. It is a temporary shelter as we get yourself to a safe place and in good state, of course. So we keep on treating you, trying to look at your emotional and physical problems. We feed you. We have a program for a daily program for our survivors. Initially, when we were thinking of creating a garden for them, for physical and occupational therapy, and we are still looking at it with CEO Diana.
Like a kitchen garden? A
kitchen garden, right there on the other side. We are planning to do a kitchen garden for them, so that they are able to do day-to-day activities. Like, they are not just hospitalized, but they do day-to-day activities. So that is what, we have a schedule for that. And we have a team that is working on the daily program, the daily routine for survivors once they come here, so that when another survivor comes, they follow a routine that keeps them going and helps them recover as fast as possible. In the resettling them at home, we explore all options. A social worker comes together with the gender team. They go and find out information about where this survivor will go and land. How safe is that place where they are going to? Are we just releasing them again to the same problem, or are we releasing them to a good place? So we do our evaluation. All that evaluation is financed by the Department of Gender, where they may ask the social worker to go and do a home visit and see what is happening where they are going. Most of our survivors have gone to where they were born. If they were married here, the resettling has happened like you go back to your parents, to your paternal or your original home. So we have always asked, we have had survivors as far as Kakamega. I think the department had to put a lot of money to help someone get resettled to Kakamega from here. And another one in Kisi. Yes. So we had two of them who were and we tried to find out what is happening at that home, then we take them back.
So when you're taking them back, are you also empowering them economically so that they can start a life, considering that maybe when they were here, they were dependents? Now when they go back, let's say if it was a husband and wife situation, now you're taking her back to Kakamega. What is the sustainable way for her or him to be able to gain income? Do you do something?
That is our next level that we are moving to, and we've been discussing with Florence on trainings and skills that we can offer these people, so that by the time they leave the shelter, they already have they've learned something new that they can do, but we've not yet implemented.
Do all of them require skills? Do most of them require skills, or some of them maybe you could have been a teacher who was defiled, or you could have been a nurse, or you could have been somebody who's a professional, or somebody who has a business? I mean, what are you finding? What percentage require to be helped with income generating activities?
Most of them require income generating activities. Most of them have no way of living. Most of them have been housewives, just doing normal household chores and helping at home. So they may need some skills or some training on a way of generating income. The few who have been having an economic activity, it's easier for them because we just help. I remember in Kakamega, you talk with the local authorities, talk with the local administration, and see whether they can get a placement somewhere where they can get something to earn a living.
And that is the stage.
Because when we were at the reception center at the hospital, Penina declared that most of the victims were were young people up to age 16. Now you're talking about housewives.
Okay, no, here there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference.
The Gender Recovery Center takes in domestic violence, and if a person wants a rescue, is when we bring them here.
This is not the safe house.
Yeah, this is the safe house.
So this generally is adults.
Yeah, adults.
So the other ones, the other ones at the GRC remain at the hospital until they recover.
Can I respond?
Yes,
You know, if they are children, children, for example, we have children centers where as a county we support. So some of these children, we link them to these centers because they are centers for children, because you don't bring children here. And so that's why I think he's getting some confusion.
So here you bring only adults,
and
over
if
18,
and if it's a mother who has a child, they come together.
Yeah.
If it's a breastfeeding, something like that, but not a child who is going to school.
Yeah.
If it's a school-going child, we place them to a children's center, which is trusted. Then there's close monitoring, and even we have supported some even to get placement outside even the county, so that there's no stigma and the children can continue learning.
Yeah.
You said that they would...
But the seeding has to pass through that hospital.
Yes. Yeah.
So then you separate
Yeah.
the children from the adults.
But you said that when they get here, if they need medical attention, there is a doctor. Does the doctor come here, or are you taking them back to the hospital facility?
We have doctors in this facility.
Okay.
We have clinicians.
So they move from the main hospital, the referral hospital, to the doctor here,
Yes.
under the care of the doctor here.
Yes.
And if they want counseling, it's also here. So there's no movement from here.
There's no.
Okay.
But if there's something that requires
Surgery.
attention, yes, we send a vehicle, we pick them, take them to the hospital and bring them back.
Yeah.
What is the minimum?
I wanted to clarify something.
The privacy.
That we're moving towards making sure that the center is, for example, a place where you can learn a skill or you can enhance
Yeah, we want
your
that in
skill.
ours.
Yeah, so that when they come here, they are not idle. They are involved in doing something, and they can take that skill. Although it's only up to 2 months. Not 2 months, I think it's
It's between 2 weeks and 8
2 weeks and
it's
yeah.
14 days.
Yeah.
14 days?
Have
Yeah,
you found
yeah,
that...
14, yeah.
Ideally.
Ideally, it's 14 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ideally.
have you found that some of them really don't have a place to go and they want
Yeah.
to stay here longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a kissy young woman. You remember the kissy young woman? One, she had a child who was disabled, and nobody would accept her at home because she had this child who is disabled. So she didn't want, for a long time, she didn't want to go
So
home.
who was abused, her or the child?
The woman. And of course, when you abuse the woman, you are also abusing the child. Yeah.
No,
So-
I'm asking because a lot of physically disabled children are also becoming big
alikuwa
victims.
mtoto mdogo, sio akwa mkubwa sana. And,
So she had nowhere, she had no
yeah, she had nowhere. One, there was stigma of that disability. So how did you deal with this?
We called the county, Kisii County, I think Director Jen
I
called
linked
the
the
director.
director for gender Kisii, so that we link. Because so that they can support, they do some background check to see that the woman and the child are protected. So there's also need for a lot of linkages, so that in case you get a case in Nairobi for Makueni, reach us, we see how we can work together.
Also, on the aspect of empowering the survivors economically, one of the reasons also the CAS was coming, Lina Kilimo, and she couldn't make it, was trying now to see the gender ministry, how do we link all these funds for women enterprise fund with survivors, so that they're the first beneficiaries, and also by the time they live here, they know how to, they have been trained on how to apply for those funds, they have a skill, so they live with a skill, but they also access money to run those. So when she comes, I think we'll also explore that.
See, the problem with GAF, it works with groups. Now, when somebody is raped and you're trying to tell them to go and join a group when they can hardly cope with themselves, so we need an element of GAF to be allowed to either support individuals or we support the institutions.
Wow! I like it. Hey, I like it. You've done well. Very little money. We don't give them in the budget. How much budget was that? 1 million. 1 million. For everything. How much do you have now?
For this year, we've allocated 700,000.
So this is the wing for the women or the men?
The women.
So you can have 6 women, but you have room for another 2 or 3, yeah?
Yes.
And then on the other side, you've got the
Actually, the
men.
capacity is
Yeah.
for the women.
Something I wanted to bring, and which I've already seen, is that, like for us, we had a challenge in actually having beds for survivors. So we actually looked at facilities that have maternities, so that in the event a survivor comes at night, you can be able to be hosted in that.
In that maternity.
Yeah, but I'm looking at what you have done here, and you have said this is specific for women. So I wanted to find out, when it comes to issues of children and placement, sometimes it needs for us to go through a court process. So
For children, that's why we have said for children we work with the institutions that are registered to handle children issues. Okay. Because they must be committed by the court.
So what you have, you have a shower and a toilet?
And a toilet.
And then where do they eat?
The hospital cooks.
There's food here.
And then they're served and they eat on the bed? No.
It's a lounge.
Oh, okay.
Okay, where we were standing is
Outside.
Okay, that's
Mheshimiwa, this is just the beginning. I mean, we put things together.
Beautiful.
Look at the kitchen. We want to make that a kitchen and also a place where those kids can be.
Now the police station. Yes. You don't need to be to go so expensive.
So we were starting with the small dog. So where they sit in the front is where they socialize and they eat here.
You see, this is an institution that
If you're a woman and you've been raped, and there are men here and there are women here, you don't want to see men. So how do you do it? The women eat separately from the men?
Run away from men. Of course. They have to stay with us.
The history is against us.
You must
And you have encountered men coming here.
Really? That's why we.
By the wife, and they had to follow up to make sure that he actually goes to report. And we would go and visit him in hospital. He would like hide. Yeah, so you can, yeah.
Because the other men will laugh at you.
No man would like to admit that he has been back.
On the air, yes.
Sasa tunapeleka kasi na watu wengine mara kwa tatasha.
Right now, we don't have no plans. You can ask.
I'm asking you, don't have clients on that number.
No, not at the moment. No.
So basically the
You know what? Let us say children. Adults who are here before and are not safe going back where they were victims. So they are protected here. But the other thing that you need to know, even if you ask